Imagine receiving a distress signal from a ship drifting in the middle of the Indian Ocean. A crew begging for help. Their voices trembling. Their message barely readable. And then, one final transmission that chills rescuers to the bone. I die. This was the Ourang Medan. A vessel that seemed to appear out of nowhere. And vanish from history even faster. No country claimed it. No records confirmed it. And yet, the horror described by those who found it was all too real. When the rescue ship arrived, the ocean was eerily calm. No movement. No sound. Just a silent, unmoving freighter rocking gently on the waves. As if it had already accepted its fate. Boarding teams climbed aboard expecting chaos. But what they found was something worse. Total stillness. The crew lay frozen across the deck. Eyes wide open. Mouths twisted in terror. Arms reaching towards something only they had seen. Some bodies were burned. Others had no marks at all. And every single face held the same expression. As if someone had captured the exact moment fear overwhelmed their souls. Even the ship's dog was found mid-snarl. Stiff, as though barking at a ghost. When rescuers reached the bridge, they found the radio operator still seated in his chair. His fingers hovering over the Morse key. Frozen in place. As if he died while sending that final message. The message that ended with, I die. And then came the detail that investigators could never explain. Every body was intact. But the air felt heavy. Charged. As if electricity still lingered around the corpses. Several rescuers later swore they felt something watching them. Even stranger, every corpse looked as though it had died in an instant. No struggle. No wounds. Just sudden, overwhelming terror. The kind you feel only when something truly unnatural stands before you. But the nightmare didn't end there. When the rescuers opened the cargo hold, they smelled something chemical. Unfamiliar. Dangerous. Crates filled with metallic cylinders lay stacked inside. None of them labeled. Some historians believe those cylinders held highly toxic wartime gases. Others think it was potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin. Smuggled illegally after World War II. Cargo that could kill in seconds if it leaked. This brings us to theory number 1, poison from the cargo hold. If the chemicals ruptured, a toxic cloud could have filled the ship. Invisible, odorless, deadly. A single breath would stop the heart. Leaving the victims frozen exactly where they stood. But this theory has problems. Poison doesn't twist faces into masks of horror. Poison doesn't leave animals snarling at invisible enemies. And poison doesn't explain why the ship itself felt charged with some strange, lingering energy. Which leads to theory number 2, a chemical explosion without fire. Under the right conditions, certain gases can create a blast of superheated air. Powerful enough to kill. But not strong enough to scorch wood. The shockwave alone could stop hearts instantly. But sailors who examined the bodies said something was off. No burns. No trauma. Just expressions of unimaginable fear. As though they hadn't just died. They had witnessed something. And then comes the most disturbing possibility. Theory number 3, something boarded the ship. Something the crew saw. But rescuers never did. A figure. A presence. A visitor in the night. Several witnesses reported an overwhelming sensation the moment they stepped aboard. A feeling of being watched. Judged. Studied. Multiple men later refused to ever speak of the experience again. One rescuer described the ship as wrong. As if the air itself carried memories of whatever had happened there. He said it felt like stepping into a room where a scream had been trapped. But before any investigation could begin, something unbelievable happened. Smoke began rising from the lower deck. The ship, silent for hours, suddenly started to burn. Fast. Too fast. The rescuers barely had time to evacuate before the Ourang Medan erupted. Flames consumed it from the inside. And within minutes, the entire ship exploded. A massive fireball rose into the sky. When the smoke cleared, nothing remained. No hull. No cargo. No bodies. The sea swallowed every piece of evidence. As if the ocean itself wanted the truth buried forever. So what really happened on that ship? If it was just chemicals, why erase the evidence? Why destroy the entire vessel before investigators could board again? And why did so many records related to the incident simply vanish? Some believe the ship transported illegal toxic weapons, and an accident forced a cover-up. Others think smugglers scuttled it intentionally to hide their crimes. But even these theories can't explain the expressions of terror on the crew. And then there's the final mystery. No country ever admitted the ship existed. No registry. No ownership. Nothing. It was a ghost long before it died. Which leads to the darkest possibility. The Ourang Medan was a ship that was never meant to be found. A ship carrying something forbidden. Something catastrophic. Something that killed every living thing aboard. Except the ocean itself. But if that's true, why did the crew send a distress call at all? Why not abandon the ship? Why did the radio operator spend his final seconds sending a message? Instead of trying to escape. Maybe he saw something the others didn't. Maybe he understood what was coming. Or maybe. And this is what keeps researchers awake at night. He wasn't trying to call for help. He was trying to warn the world. To this day, the Ourang Medan remains one of the most disturbing maritime mysteries ever recorded. No witnesses survived. No evidence remains. Just a trail of fear. A final message. And a ship that vanished in flame. And at the center of it all, those faces. Those twisted, frozen masks of terror. What could make an entire crew die in fear? At the exact same moment. Whatever happened aboard the Ourang Medan. It happened fast. It happened silently. And it left behind a single message that still echoes across the ocean. I die. But maybe he wasn't talking about himself. Maybe he meant something else entirely. Maybe the operator was saying, "We die, and you might be next." The sea keeps its secrets. And some ships were never meant to be found.